welcome to Read the Whole Bible with Trenda Jones. I'm Trenda, and this is Day 7. Let's read, and may the Lord add a blessing to the reading of His Word. Beginning with Genesis chapter 9, verse 1. God's covenant with Noah. God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. The fear and terror of you will be in every living creature on the earth, every bird of the sky, every creature that crawls on the ground, and all the fish of the sea. They are placed under your authority. Every creature that lives and moves will be food for you. As I gave the green plants, I have given you everything. However, you must not eat meat with its lifeblood in it, and I will require a penalty for your lifeblood. I will require it from any animal and from any human. If someone murders a fellow human, I will require that person's life. Whoever sheds human blood, by human's blood, his blood will be shed. For God made humans in His image. But you, be fruitful and multiply. Spread out over the earth and multiply on it." Then God said to Noah and his sons with him, "Understand that I am establishing my covenant with you and your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, birds, livestock, and all wildlife of the earth that are with you, all the animals of the earth that came out of the ark. I establish my covenant with you that never again will every creature be wiped out by floodwaters. There will never again be a flood to destroy the earth." And God said, "This is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all future generations. I have placed my bow in the clouds, and it will be a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I form clouds over the earth and the bow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all the living creatures. Water will never again become a flood to destroy every creature. The bow will be in the clouds, and I will look at it and remember the permanent covenant between God and all the living creatures on the earth." God said to Noah, "This is the sign of the covenant that I have established between me and every creature on earth." Prophecies about Noah's family. Noah's sons who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were Noah's sons, and from them the whole earth was populated. Noah, as a man of the soil, began planting a vineyard. He drank some of the wine, became drunk, and uncovered himself inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father naked and told his two brothers outside. Then Shem and Japheth took a cloak and placed it over both their shoulders, and walking backward, they covered their father's nakedness. Their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father naked. When Noah awoke from his drinking and learned what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Canaan is cursed. He will be the lowest of slaves to his brothers." He also said, "Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem. Let Canaan be Shem's slave. Let God extend Japheth. Let Japheth dwell in the tents of Shem. Let Canaan be Shem's slave." Now Noah lived 350 years after the flood. So Noah's life lasted 950 years, then he died. Genesis chapter 10. The Table of Nations. These are the family records of Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. They also had sons after the flood. Japheth's sons, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. Gomer's sons, Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah, and Javan's sons, Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. From these descendants, the peoples of the coasts and islands spread out into their lands according to their clans in their nations, each with its own language. Ham's sons, Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. Cush's sons, Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Reama, and Sabteca, and Reama's sons, Sheba and Dedan. Cush fathered Nimrod, who began to be powerful in the land. He was a powerful hunter in the sight of the Lord. That is why it is said, like Nimrod, a powerful hunter in the sight of the Lord. His kingdom started with Babylon, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. From that land he went to Assyria and built Nineveh, Rehoboth-ir, Calah, and Resen, between Nineveh and the great city of Calah. Mizraim fathered the people of Lud, Anam, Lehab, Naphtah, Pathros, Kaslah. The Philistines came from them, and Caphtor. Canaan fathered Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, as well as the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, the Arkites, the Sinites, the Arvadites, the Zemarites, and the Hamathites. Afterward, the Canaanite clans scattered. The Canaanite border went from Sidon going toward Gerar as far as Gaza, and going toward Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim as far as Lasha. These are Ham's sons by their clans according to their languages, in their lands and their nations. And Shem, Japheth's older brother, also had sons. Shem was the father of all the sons of Eber. Shem's sons were Elam, Asher, Arpachshad, Lud, and Aram. Aram's sons, Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arpachshad fathered Shelah, and Shelah fathered Eber. Eber had two sons. One was named Peleg, for during his days the earth was divided. His brother was named Joktan, and Joktan fathered Almodad, Sheleph, Hazarmaveth, Jerah, Hadoram, Uzal, Diklah, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All these were Joktan's sons. Their settlements extended from Mesha to Sephar, the eastern hill country. These are Shem's sons by their clans according to their languages, in their lands and their nations. These are the clans of Noah's sons according to their family records in their nations. The nations on earth spread out from these after the flood. First Chronicles chapter 7, beginning with verse 1. Issachar's descendants. Issachar's sons, Tola, Puah, Jashub, and Shimron, 4. Tola's sons, Uzi, Rephiah, Jeriel, Jamai, Ipsam, and Shemuel, the heads of their ancestral families. During David's reign, 22,600 descendants of Tola were recorded as valiant warriors in their family records. Uzi's son, Izrahiah's sons, Michael, Obadiah, Joel, Ishiah. All 5 of them were chiefs. Along with them, they had 36,000 troops for battle according to the family records of their ancestral families, for they had many wives and children. Their tribesmen, who were valiant warriors belonging to all the families of Issachar, totaled 87,000 in their genealogies. Benjamin's descendants. 3 of Benjamin's sons, Bela, Becher, and Jediel. Bela's sons, Ezbon, Uzi, Uziel, Jeremoth, and Eri, 5. They were valiant warriors and heads of their ancestral families. 22,034 were listed in their genealogies. Becher's sons, Zemira, Joash, Eleazar, Elionai, Omri, Jeremoth, Abijah, Anathoth, and Alameth. All these were Becher's sons. Their family records were recorded according to the heads of their ancestral families, 20,200 valiant warriors. Jediel's son, Bilhan. Bilhan's son, Jehush, Benjamin, Ehud, Cheniana, Zethan, Tarshish, and Ahishahar. All these sons of Jediel, listed by family heads, were valiant warriors. There were 17,200 who could serve in the army. Shupim and Hupim were sons of Ir, and the Hushim were the sons of Aher. Naphtali's descendants. Naphtali's sons Jaziel, Guni, Jezer, and Shalom, Bilhah's sons. Manasseh's descendants. Manasseh's sons through his Aramean concubine, Asriel and Machir, the father of Gilead. Machir took wives from Hupim and Shupim. The name of his sister was Maacah. Another descendant was named Zelophehad, but he had only daughters. Machir's wife Maacah gave birth to a son, and she named him Peresh. His brother was named Sheresh, and his sons were Ulam and Rekam. Ulam's son Bedan. These were the sons of Gilead, son of Machir, son of Manasseh. His sister Hamaleketh gave birth to Ishhad, Abiezer, and Mahlah. Shemitah's sons Ahian, Shishim, Leki, and Aniam. Ephraim's descendants. Ephraim's sons, Shuthelah and his son Bered, his son Tahath, his son Eliada, and his son Tahath, his son Zabad, his son Shethulah, also Ezer and Eliad. The men of Gath, born in the land, killed them because they went down to raid their cattle. Their father Ephraim mourned a long time, and his relatives came to comfort him. He slept with his wife, and she conceived and gave birth to a son. So he named him Beriah, because there had been misfortune in his home. His daughter was Shira, who built Lower and Upper Beth Horon and Uzan Shira. His son Repha, his son Resheph, his son Tela, his son Tahan, his son Ladan, his son Amihud, his son Elishama, his son Nun, and his son Joshua. Their holdings and settlements were Bethel and its surrounding villages, Naaran to the east, Gezer and its villages to the west, and Shechem and its villages as far as Aiah and its villages, and along the borders of the descendants of Manasseh, Bethshean, Teanak, Megiddo, and Dor with their surrounding villages. The sons of Joseph, son of Israel, lived in those towns. Asher's descendants. Asher's sons, Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, and Beriah with their sister Serah. Beriah's sons, Heber and Malkiel, who fathered Birzaith. Heber fathered Japhlet, Shomer, and Hotham with their sister Shua. Japhlet's sons, Pesach, Bimhal, and Ashvath. These were Japhlet's sons. Shemer's sons, Ahi, Rogah, Huba, and Aram. His brother Helam's sons, Zophah, Imnah, Shilesh, and Amal. Zophah's sons, Sua, Harnefer, Shual, Beri, Imrah, Bezer, Hod, Shema, Shilshah, Ithran, and Bera. Jether's sons, Jephunneh, Pispa, and Ara. Ulah's sons, Ara, Haniel, and Rizia. All these were Asher's descendants. They were the heads of their ancestral families, chosen men, valiant warriors, and chiefs among the leaders. The number of men listed in their genealogies for military service was 26,000. John chapter 4, beginning with verse 1. When Jesus learned that the Pharisees had heard he was making and baptizing more disciples than John, though Jesus himself was not baptizing, but his disciples were, he left Judea and went again to Galilee. He had to travel through Samaria, so he came to a town of Samaria called Sychar, near the property that Jacob had given his son Joseph. Joseph's well was there, and Jesus, worn out from his journey, sat down at the well. It was about noon. a woman of Samaria came to draw water. "Give me a drink," Jesus said to her, because his disciples had gone into town to buy food. "How is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me, a Samaritan woman?" she asked him, for Jews do not associate with Samaritans. Jesus answered, "If you knew the gift of God and who is saying to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would ask him and he would give you living water." "Sir," said the woman, "you don't even have a bucket and the well is deep. So where do you get this living water? You aren't greater than our father Jacob, are you? He gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did his sons and livestock." Jesus said, "Everyone who drinks from this water will get thirsty again, but whoever drinks from the water that I will give him will never get thirsty again. In fact, the water I will give him will become a well of water springing up in him for eternal life." "Sir," the woman said to him, "give me this water so that I won't get thirsty and come here to draw water." "Go call your husband," he told her, "and come back here." "I don't have a husband," she answered. "You have correctly said, 'I don't have a husband,'" Jesus said, "for you have had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband. What you have said is true." "Sir," the woman replied, "I see that you are a prophet. Our ancestors worshipped on this mountain, but you Jews say that the place to worship is in Jerusalem." Jesus told her, "Believe me, woman, an hour is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You Samaritans worship what you do not know. We worship what we do know, because salvation is from the Jews. But an hour is coming and is now here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. Yes, the Father wants such people to worship him. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and in truth." James chapter 3, beginning with verse 13. "Who among you is wise and understanding? By his good conduct he should show that his works are done in the gentleness that comes from wisdom. But if you have bitter envy and selfish ambition in your heart, don't boast and deny the truth. Such wisdom does not come down from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where there is envy and selfish ambition, there is disorder and every evil practice. But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peace-loving, gentle, compliant, full of mercy and good fruits, unwavering, without pretense. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace by those who cultivate peace." Psalm 7, Prayer for Justice, a Shiggaion of David, which he sang to the Lord concerning the words of Cush, a Benjamite. "Lord my God, I seek refuge in you. Save me from all my pursuers and rescue me, or they will tear me like a lion, ripping me apart with no one to rescue me. Lord my God, if I have done this, if there is injustice on my hands, if I have done harm to one at peace with me, or have plundered my adversary without cause, may an enemy pursue and overtake me. May he trample me to the ground and leave my honor in the dust. Selah. Rise up, Lord, in your anger. Lift yourself up against the fury of my adversaries. Awake for me. You have ordained a judgment. Let the assembly of peoples gather around you. Take your seat on high over it. The Lord judges the peoples. Vindicate me, Lord, according to my righteousness and my integrity. Let the evil of the wicked come to an end, but establish the righteous. The one who examines the thoughts and emotions is a righteous God. My shield is with God, who saves the upright in heart. God is a righteous judge and a God who shows his wrath every day. If anyone does not repent, he will sharpen his sword. He has strung his bow and made it ready. He has prepared his deadly weapons. He tips his arrows with fire. See, the wicked one is pregnant with evil, conceives trouble, and gives birth to deceit. He dug a pit and hollowed it out, but fell into the hole he had made. His trouble comes back on his own head. His own violence comes down on top of his head. I will thank the Lord for his righteousness. I will sing about the name of the Lord Most High. And this concludes the reading for day 7 of Read the Whole Bible with Trenda Jones. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for day 8.